Hi web leaders, we're looking forward to you going back into the 6th grade advisory classrooms to teach your lesson in just a few days. I know that the materials have been posted on Google Classroom, and hopefully those materials have been helpful, but if you still have some outstanding questions, this video might clarify some of those questions that you have. And if you still have questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out to any of the web facilitators. So first things first, I want to make sure that when you are teaching this lesson, you are wearing your web shirt. Totally important, as you guys know. And then after that, making sure that you're in the 6th grade advisory as soon as possible, making sure that you set up a circle of chairs, and also making sure that one of the web leaders is writing the following on the smartboard or the whiteboard, as you can see behind me. So we want you to write the quote, "Attitudes are contagious, ... is yours worth catching?" ? And then right below it, you're going to draw a square. It doesn't have to be a very big square. 5 inches by 5 inches is fine, but just make sure that everyone can see the square and the quote. Once you have that written and you're all set in terms of a circle of chairs, one of the web leaders should close the door to the advisory classroom just to provide a little bit more privacy. As soon as everyone's ready to go, I want one of the web leaders to start asking everyone if they can see the square, and if so, then they want to make sure to put an arm in front of them with their thumbs up, just like this. And they're going to close one of their eyes. It doesn't matter which eye they have closed first, but they are going to close one of their eyes. And as their one eye is closed, they're going to try to cover the square with their thumb. And as soon as that's covered, then what you are going to ask them to do is not move their thumb, but they are going to open their eye, the one eye that's closed, and then they're going to close the other eye. They're going to see what happens. And I'd like the web leader, one of the web leaders or both web leaders, to start discussing, well, what happened with the 6th graders? They're going to say something like, the square moved. And then I want you to inquire, well, did the square actually move? Or did something else change? And as you're having this conversation, do make sure that there are multiple people talking, multiple 6th graders giving out answers. And it doesn't matter if it's the same answer. I just want you to engage those students as much as possible. And so hopefully eventually they will get to a point where they say that the square did not move, but that their perspective or point of view changed, and that's what moved, so to speak. And so at that point, you will want to say something like, perspectives are really important, and they are part of life, and so sometimes they can change. And perspectives do affect our attitudes, and our attitudes are so important in determining our success in life. And whether that's life in school or at home, our attitudes are pretty important. And so once you say something like that, then I want you to, again, engage them in a conversation. Ask them, how has your perspective on 6th grade changed from the beginning of the year to now? And how has that changed? Why has that changed? And then reinforce that message that perspective affects our attitude. And so how has their attitude towards 6th grade changed? Why? Why has their attitudes changed, if they have changed? If they've stayed the same, again, inquire with them. Why? How? Really talk to them and have a good, deep conversation with the 6th graders about their perspectives and their attitudes toward the 6th grade. Again, we're imagining that a lot of them may have been scared at first about 6th grade and middle school, and now that they've gone through it, maybe it's not as bad, or maybe it's worse because of the workload, or maybe because of their friendships. So really talk with them about that, engage them in these different perspectives and thoughts about 6th grade. And then once you feel like you've gotten through a pretty good discussion about perspectives and attitudes, what I then want one of the web leaders to do is to draw a T-chart, which you can see on this side of the whiteboard. And I want you to draw a T-chart, like I said, and label both columns. One side is going to be called good attitude, and then the other side is going to be called bad attitude. And you're going to tell them, at this point, I want you to be thinking about what are some of the qualities that offer us a good attitude on life, and then what are some of the qualities in us that offer a bad attitude in life, and talk with them about those qualities. So I want one web leader to be writing and taking notes about what the sixth graders say, and then the other web leader is facilitating this conversation. And you can give them an example. You can give the example of happy. If you are happy as a person, that's the quality that you have inside of you, well then you're likely to have a good attitude about school, about life. And then have them offer different examples. And so they're hopefully going to come up with 3-4 different thoughts, different qualities that they can list on both sides of the T-chart. And then once they have a pretty good list there, then again, I want you to engage in conversation with them. Ask them, well, if you have all of these good qualities, and these good attitudes, well then how is your day going to be when you're with your friends or when you're working on a project? How is your day going to be, do you think? And then also do the same with the opposite side of it. If you've got some of these bad qualities in you and you've got this bad attitude towards school or toward life, what is your day like going to be, that way? And really talk with them about these things, because again, our attitudes are so important in terms of our success. And so once you go through that discussion, then that's pretty much it for the lesson. You are going to want to be the last to leave as you're saying goodbye to them, and really reinforce that message as they're leaving, to say to them something like, make sure that you have good attitudes today. Make sure you're smiling while you're doing this, because you're modeling the good attitudes and the good qualities that determine that success. And so talk to them about, as they're leaving, giving them high fives and smiling. Talk to them about that message, that make sure to have those good attitudes. Remember to have, to be happy, to be positive, to keep smiling, anything like that, just to reinforce that message about perspectives and attitudes and how important they are. And be that last person to leave, and then make sure that you are returning the supply bag to either the web box or to one of the web facilitators. Otherwise, I think that's about it for the lesson. If you have any questions, reach out to us and let us know. But I hope you enjoy the lesson. Thanks.